our StarCraft action in the China Team Championship Season 2, Week 1, Day 2, Team LP versus Invictus Gaming. Starting off at the top left-hand side of the map. Again, we joined this one a couple minutes in, I do apologize. At the top left, our blue Zerg player from Team LP is Impact. Played out of his mind when it came to the playoffs in Season 1, helping his team to reach second place and almost very nearly was able to make it a victory in the end. As in the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player is Coffee. As we get this ready to go. Coffee was one of the players from Invictus Gaming, of course. Invictus actually had a surprisingly strong start to Season 1. Unfortunately, just kind of fell shy as the league went on, unfortunately. And yeah, they had a really strong start last season. And again, unfortunately, they just weren't able to kind of make it work out in the end. Coffee was one of the players that played twice, and he went 0-4. Invictus mostly carried by the performance of Iasoney, who went 6-8. A couple of other players able to pick up some maps here and there. We were able to kind of force ace matches and give Iasoney the chance to really show himself and really put himself to use right away. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened every single time. Like, Iasoney or Jigwe beat Wanted, for example, and then Iasoney went 1-1, right? So they either won the China vs. China match, or they really heavily relied on Iasoney when they beat Invictus Gaming. You know, Iasoney took a map off Gumiho, Jim took a map off True there as well, and they won the China matchup. When they beat Player 1, Invictus Gaming, you know, Iasoney beat Parting, and Jim took a map of Fantasy. Iasoney took the Ace match. So it really was all about Iasoney, who we'll see later. It'll be very interesting to see what comes with that, as you see Reaper Grenade popping off and a few lings getting turned around. Reaper will go down here on the bottom side as the Evo Chamber from our Zerg finishing up on the top side. So getting that ready to roll, and we're just going to be seeing the extra queens setting up on the third base as I'm just trying to get myself into this game still. Sorry, my head's still racing. I was like sitting in the car like shouting at the traffic crowd. I was like, move! Move! What are you doing? Like, why are you guys like just sat there? It was so stupid. Oh my god, it was just so slow. They've basically recently they've put traffic lights on a roundabout near my house, and it's just the most useless. Like, there was never a need for traffic lights there. Like, enough cars go the right ways, and now the traffic lights are there. You just have to wait for no reason. It's the dumbest thing, and that's caused loads of traffic, especially on a busy day. So yeah, it's a big yikes, basically. So yeah, rip. Mirroring drop does nothing here from Coffee. The 2-1-1 opener. Was it even 2-1-1 opener? No. Yes? Where's the second Rex? There it is. God damn, I'm blind. These Special Forces barracks melding in with the map terrain here on Disco Bloodbath. Alright, third medevac on the way across, and now two Liberators. So actually, this is a pretty aggressive push. If you're getting two Liberators as well, you can absolutely get some damage at the front here. You can also go and harass with those Libs, as the Marines will try and keep up at the front as well. So a couple of different options right from the get-go. As we will just see a Motormine coming to join this. Coffee sitting at the front as Impact is looking to see what he'll be able to do here. Spore Crawler up on the top side. Marines, Medevacs, the Motormine going to go around the right. And again, there's a couple crew teamers that they can get rid of here. The Overlord as well will be in a bit of trouble right away. Zergling's already going down, and this is a good little bit of group spread being cleaned up here. So push right in towards that third hatchery. So the third hatch taking quite a lot of damage. The Link's on a run in now as well. Widowmine goes off and gets a few of them. And the Liberator is coming all the way around the top side as the Medevacs are just out there. Honestly, so far, good trades by Coffee. Good pressure applied. You can see the resources lost is better for us Terran player than it is the Zerg. So he's kind of doing what he wants to do. Cleaning up creep, keeping up pressure, dealing damage. Just trying to find a way in with those Liberators, and that definitely wasn't it, running them past 5 Queens and a Spore Crawler. One of the two goes down. I mean, that's an expensive loss right away there. We'll get a Queen in the main base, though, and these Marines will clump up together before lifting and leaving. Those Queens were kind of on the right way towards kind of shutting this down, but unfortunately in the end, won't quite make it. He's going to lift back up in. Speed starts, +1 melee and +2 carapace on the way in. And we've seen the extra barracks on the way up here from Coffee as well. So again, just a lot of building up right now as the Zerglin continues to go on a bit of a run around. It's not that hot here, says Slowly, 22 degrees C. Slowly. It is literally like, what is it outside here? It's 23 degrees C here, And people are like, oh my god, it's summer! People are like, they're walking around with their tops off. They've got basically no clothes on. Everybody's at the beach. That's why it's so busy where I live, because I live by the beach. Everyone's going to the beach. It is absolutely rammed outside. It's, for England, 23. That's probably the nicest it's been all year or so. Maybe we've had like a couple days that have gone up toward 28, but not many. Well, here we go. Impact's just playing a lot of Lings, and these Lings trying to run around are not finding much opportunity when it comes to these Marines, which are just constantly in position to be able to deny those Lings, which are off over to the right-hand side. A few of the Lings starting to run in again. The Marines are good to do a lot of cleaning up, though. Siege tank on the way out here from Coffee, getting that rolling again. Marines, medevacs, and tanks running out over to the left-hand side now, so seeing what they can do. We've got a little dancing buddy here in the center. Seeing what's going on. The army is going to be going back down to the bottom side. What's up, Poe? Thank you for the 13 months. Hope you're doing well, dude. You playing Classic tonight? Got a lot of Warcraft Classic tonight, guys. You know, I was really hyped for it, but at the minute I'm just like, ugh. I've just like lost my hype for it almost. So, rip. Literally just rip, I guess. Anyways, Impact is still in some trouble. Coffee has absolutely been dictating the pacing of this game. Impact has got Lings and Banes looking to flank in. Let's see how good the fight from Coffee will be. He's got reinforcements coming in here, so that's tanks that aren't yet sieged before this fight comes in. I mean, maybe if the Banelings went off on those tanks, that would be something at least, but you know, the Lings were able to get on top of them pretty easily. And right now, the medevacs aren't even connecting with the Marines. They were kind of healing the ones that were up on the top, so Impact's going to absolutely crush this attack. And Coffee's going to get turned away. Coffee doesn't have +1 attack, by the way. That's a huge miss on the upgrades. I mean, I saw +1 armor on the when you just assume +1 attack is there, but not to have +1 attack is ridiculous, especially when you consider the Lings now have +2 carapace. No wonder those Marines were basically doing nothing at all. So while Coffee's looked pretty good in terms of how he was moving, how he was looking to fight, the pressure he's been able to apply, he's absolutely made some very big mistakes here as the game goes by, including the fact that, didn't get +1 attack. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's going to have +1 now when there's basically 2-2 on the side of the Zerg. I mean, it's a full set of upgrade lead for the Zerg play, and you never want that to be a thing in TVZ, because the Terran player needs to trade as well as they can and as best as they can going into the later stages to, just to help them give that little bit of, make it tough for the Zerg to get to Hive Tech, make it tough for the Zerg to get into the Ultras count, etc. If the Zerg can get to Hive Tech and Ultras super easily, you're going to have such a tough time dealing with that as a Terran player, because you won't have as, you'll have even less time to prepare your own switch into Liberators, Marauders, and from there as well, going into the next stage of potentially adding in the Ghost Academy and so on as well. Marines and Marauder. Going up the right-hand side, Creep Tumors. Gonna go down, a Baneling picked off as well. We do see Lings running by in towards the natural. I mean, there's just no defense at the natural at all. These units are out on the map, and this is kind of the problem. Coffee kind of lost that one fight, and now everything is starting to slip away a little bit as we see the Lings continue to fight along. Depot's taking quite a lot of damage. I mean, 21, SCV is going down. Depot's actually dying as well. I mean, Depots are huge. My god, if he'd gone for the engineering bay any sooner, he actually would have stopped +1 attack from coming in. I mean, that would have been a disaster as well. As the rest of the army comes across, Coffee's just going to type GG. That's going to be Impact picking up the first game. Alright, let's jump into game. As we have got in the bottom right-hand side, Team LP's Impact, who takes game number 1 of this best of 7 for his team. In the top left-hand side, the blue Terran player is Coffee. As we get ourselves going into game number 2. Alright. So, just setting this up, looking to see where we're going to go in the world of TVZ. Our matches for today are pretty interesting as well. I actually really think the second series today, Psystorm Gaming, taking on Pixel 1, is one of the best matches of the first week in terms of lineups. But yeah, today's match is a pretty cool too. The first series is pretty cool too. I mean, we get to see Coffee and Impact now. Then Yeshe XY should be pretty fun. Yeshe should be a bit of a favorite there, I feel, though. And Patience Iasoney. I mean, Iasoney absolutely has the possibility of upsetting Patience. We saw that with how he played in the first season. And yeah, then Pixel 1 versus Sidestone game, and I really think are probably the best matches of the Giant Team Championship so far, with Parting versus Gumiho, Fantasy versus True, and Firefly versus Sakura. So that's all coming up as well. So yeah, really, really awesome day of StarCraft 2 for us here. So yeah, Giant Team Championship Season 2, second day. We have got a prediction contest on our Discord. We don't have many entries, so honestly, if you enter and you do fairly decently, you might just win. So if you want to take part in that, !predictions will give you the link to the Discord, or you can type in !Discord. There's a channel on the Discord which gives you guys all the information that you need. So do go and check that one out. As we set ourselves up into this game too, haven't really seen much so far. It is going to be a factory and not a second barracks, so Coffee will change up his playstyle from the first game. It's tough to go 2-1-1 multiple times in a row. 2-1-1 isn't that kind of all-powerful, unstoppable kind of build order anymore, you know, that it used to be way back when. And there's a reason it is actually used very rarely now. It's still nice to slip into a series, but if you keep doing it, it's absolutely abusable. The Zerg can, you know, react to it very well. They can respond to it easily. They can get a lot that goes very right for them. So this Reaper from Coffee moving around, looking out the front. Third hatchery already on the way down here from Impact, so continue to set this up. Starport is going to be on its way in the main base too, and the barracks is going to move over to the tech lab. So barracks setting up the tech lab and just going to be, well, maybe making some space for the Starport to jump onto that. We might see something of a battlecruiser opening here. Absolutely a possibility, and absolutely something we've seen quite a bit of lately. This Warlock has received some criticisms as well here on Winter's Gate. It's a little funky compared to how people would like to, well, especially Protoss players. It's a little bit tough. A couple of Hellions running out over to the right-hand side. Stimpack is on the way up in the main base. Viking on the way out of the Starport. And Pneumatize Carapace is going to finish shortly for Impact. So as, you know, Pneumatize Carapace finishes up, we're going to see this Overlord hanging overhead. A few of these Queens pressing forwards, and again, Reaper, Hellion, going to get pushed away down the bottom side. Viking picks off the Overlord. And 2 more barracks on the way up in the main base. So 3 racks in total here. Factory and the Starport all together. Get this ready to roll. Baneling Nest starting up from Impact as well there. Dropping down in the main base. So the Overlord is going to be heading in towards the main, so having a little look to see what's going on here. Starport lifts up, moves over to React, and again, Factory, getting the Siege Tank rolling. Impact's going to be opting for a Roach play, so going to change up his playstyle a little bit. He obviously going in towards those Roaches, even though he sees that it's bio as well, right? So this isn't like a, oh my god, it's mech, I'm going to make Roaches. This is just a, I'd rather play a Roach-based style, and obviously there's a lot of aggressive times you can do on this map. You know, if you have Roaches, you take down these rocks, you have a pretty good attack path through here, and you can also come up the right-hand side and the left-hand side at the same time. So there's absolutely potential for like big surrounds into the third base. And so if you're looking to try and just kill your Terran player off, that's absolutely one way of going about this. Combat shields now building. Stim is done. We don't have much action on the map though from Coffee, just a few Hellions, and that means that Impact is at the moment just pretty freely spreading that creep forwards. It isn't really being slowed down by anything at all. Just the creep just heading on out there at the moment. As you do see the Zergling's going to have a run around on the upper right. Other Queens continuing forwards too. Hellions and the Reaper push back into the middle. +1 attack on that engineering base just past halfway done. As we do have 8 Zerglings ready to jump up into the Overlord here. See what's going to happen. Viking picking away at the Overlord. Looks as though the Overlord is going to go down. So Overlord will fall single. Zerglin going wandering forwards already. Just has a little bit of a look around that mineral line. It's going to jump on top of an SCV actually. So SCV taking quite some damage there. Marines will be able to deal some hits. Hallion's Reaper, a couple of medevacs. So all of this bioforce coming over to the right hand side. Roaches, Ravages, and Queens. Moving around the bottom. I mean, again, it's a very aggressive setup from Impact. He can't attack yet because he's still waiting on the roach speed. But once he has that, he can absolutely get more aggressive. Adding some Lings into play as well and investing into that Carapace upgrade. So it's the upgrade that will affect both roaches and Lings. Which means that it means that he is really looking to have a lot of Lings in his play to really get in front and to tank a bit for these roaches and Ravagers. Hallion's poised on the left, but, well, Impact's actually sending quite a lot over on the left-hand side of the map, as we do have the Marines on the right here. Impact will have to come back to respond to this, so this is going to slow Impact down quite a bit. He'll lose his Evo Chamber that he was just building. Is now adding on the Baneling Nest, so looking to change it in towards a bit of Baneling support for these roaches. His drones starting to get roasted as well. A couple of surrounds trying to come down, as we do see the Queens able to target down the first medevac. Good pick off there as Marines will continue to drop. Ravager is going to be targeted though, so Ravager falls and the other Marines lifting back up into that medevac, coming out through the top side. And onward we go, waiting to see what the next little player may be. Third base of Coffee finally up and running, but it's pretty late and still not even an orbital, right? So his attempt to be, I mean, he was only on 3 racks. It's not like he went 4th and 5th racks first, but he definitely hasn't got like the fastest third CC in the universe here, and that's obviously pretty, you know, it does slow him down a bit on that economy. And again, I feel like Impact's been set up to attack for a little while, but now he's decided not to, and he's going into an infestation pit instead. Looks like he wants to continue teching up here. Banes and Ravages back over the right. Marines simming forwards and a few more creep teamers starting to go down. Banes running forwards, Ravagers too. Banelings continue to press on in. Those Marines on the left are going to start getting blown up by a few of those Banelings. Again, Medevac's loading on up here. And they're going to be dropping those Marines back down on top of the Ravagers. So a lot more damage being done as we see 6, 7 workers taken down. Liberator's in position and in fact taking a lot of damage to this. So Coffee, just some good damage here, man. Tell you what, if Coffee can take a map of Impact, this series really does open up a little bit in terms of possibilities. I feel like this was a tough one for Invictus Gaming going in. But if Coffee can take a map of Impact, I mean, then, you know, Iasoney performs. There's a lot of potential, but he is Impact now in his own little play of aggression. Going to go straight into the main. Oh my god, burrowed roaches, and Coffee just hasn't even been expecting this slightly. Roaches pop up in the main, they pop up in the natural. I mean, shutting down production in his main already. A siege tank going to go down pretty much instantly. Marines stimming up there. He's going to deal with this a lot faster than he might have originally thought. There are still going to be a bunch of roaches in the background there, though, that will have to go and be dealt with. He is, wow, going to let them get away, so it's going to be another scan before those go down. He will be able to pop them, but 14 SCVs lost. It's obviously kept Coffee at home, but Impact lost a lot of roaches. And you look at the supplies right now, 132 to 117. Coffee has been able to clean up a lot of the army, and while he did lose some SCVs, you've got to remember Impact just came off of losing a bunch of drones as well. Coffee just needs the confidence to go forth and attack. Now, +2 Carapace is going to be done soon, so we are going to see the Zerg up in upgrades. But he's teching into Hive. I mean, if there's ever a time to attack, it's after cleaning up all of those roaches. It's right now. You know, this should absolutely be the time to just go into this and to get this started, so... You see the couple of medevacs coming down to the bottom. $16 Marines dropping down. These medevacs again. One Marine's going to be pulling back. Going to be lifting up. Lings and Banes pressing over. A couple more Banelings out in the center. Marines here from Coffee continue to attack the hatchery, and all going to be able to take it down. So hatchery will fall as the medevac lifts up and gets out of there. More Marines on the right-hand side. Going to be taken down as well. As we still see these Marines pressing forwards, but well, I really feel like Coffee had a huge advantage and he's just done absolutely nothing with it because these drops have done absolutely nothing. And I mean, now Impact's just allowed to go up in towards an Ultras cavern when he never should have been allowed to get there. Absolutely not, you know. For the damage he, you know, for the units he gave up, etc., he should be having to spam units now, not teching into Ultras. And I mean, once you get to Ultras, this is a whole different ball game. So the question will be, how well will Coffee be able to deal with that? It's not like Coffee's, you know, lost the game. It's just he was in a really strong position, and as time ticks by, he's just letting Impact take that, you know, advantage away from him. Team Medivacs coming down to the bottom side, and just gonna see some more creep tumors coming up. Well, Bane's gonna burrow on this ramp. Oh my god, no! Oh my god. I mean, it's not the biggest connection ever, but it is still a pretty decent Baneling mine. And that goes off there. Liberator's sieging up. A couple of Ravager shots on the Liberator, helping to push it back. Lings and Banes rolling forward. Siege tank fire is good to cover these initial Banelings. Another few Medivacs taking some damage there. Bio gonna have to be a little bit cautious. The tank's gonna be able to deal a bunch more damage as well. Banelings continue to go down. In the main base, Roaches are back up, so we are going to see SCVs dropping. I mean, the army supply advantage was 30 when we talked, you know, minutes ago. Now it's even army supply. In fact, even Zerg has more army supply, so this is looking bad. Continue to press down. A couple more Banelings going down as well. Ravagers going to be in some trouble as Coffee is going to get flanked in from the top, although his tanks are dealing a lot of damage there, so that was actually a bit better for Coffee. In fact, losing quite a lot of units as these Banes as well. Marauders will split ahead. And those Banes going to go down. Now the Lings running in from the other side, though. I mean, the Banes, again, coming through the inhibitor zone are a little bit slow, so it's actually going a lot better than it feels like it should be for Coffee in these fights. Oh my god, wow. He's actually going to get away with sieging those tanks. I mean, I know the tanks obviously aren't in the best position over there, but I mean, I kind of felt like the army was about to run in. I mean, Impact doesn't, so I guess in the end it was the right decision from Coffee here. He's going to be seeing those Liberators a little bit stacked up. That single Ultras is just out of range. Ling is now on top of the production, on top of the Mineralize here as well, and maybe camping some of the production. Meanwhile, Marines are going to chase down some Overlords. I mean, Impact's 3 more Ultras on the way up, and those Ultras are going to be tough to deal with, it feels like. I mean, Kindness Plane's not done yet, though, and we'll see the first Ultra pops out, goes down to half health already. Again, still some Lings over here. Bio units are not even going to go and deal with the Roaches in the main. There's just so much going on, and that Baneling is able to connect. If the Roaches in the main go down, what's left over here? Half health Ultra, another couple Ultras too. A Viper with Blinding Cloud's obviously going to be pretty huge as well. Problem is for Impact, he has an army supply advantage, but very few ways to get his army supply all joined up together. He's got a lot of Liberators to work with here, though, and that's going to be a huge help because it might just be enough to take down those Ultralisks. Bio jumping on the Rotoran now. Rotoran looks as though it will start to fall. Lifts up into the Medivacs. Rotoran building in the back of the Naturals, so not sure. Rotoran at the front, I guess, just taking some damage. Just getting, you know, ahead of that on the rebuilds. Coffee is down to 26 workers, so he's not really able to build much more. It's absolutely about what he's got right now. And Ravagers like that take down a Siege Tank and a Liberator in the same shots. That's what Coffee can't allow to have happen at the moment. He can't let that go down. Bio over to the right. Couple of Ultras, Lings, and Banes in the center. Here you go, units starting to come in. Maybe from the bottom side here. Liberators continue to siege up. What's up, Chicken Man, for the 19-month resub? This game is perhaps going to come to a conclusion here in the next few moments. We do have Ultras making a move on the top side. These Marines and Marauders don't know where to go, but actually they do pretty well trading out. It's just a problem if there's another 2 Ultralisks on the way in here. Again, I just don't see how you continue to take those fights. The Ravagers in a little bit of trouble there. I mean, credit to Coffee, he's, you know, while he maybe didn't make the best decisions all game long, he's really, really pushing for this at the moment. He really needs to keep these Liberators spent. And honestly, a little bit of repair could go such a long way to help out with that as well. Those of Biles will kill off a couple of those siege tanks already, but another Ultralisk goes down as the army pushes up to the high ground. I almost think there's not a lot to sort of support these Ultralisks anymore, and without +3 on the Carapace, they're not actually like super unkillable, so... And there goes 2 Liberators. Again, you have to make sure they're spread out. Have to make sure they're spread out, and that's the problem. As we see less tanks, less, you know, Liberator support, this becomes more and more difficult. I mean, there's a random Swarm Hose added in. Now we're actually down to 0 Ultras for the next couple of moments. A little bit of Bio can actually fight this. 2 Ultras in the production tab. One's only just started, though. I mean, if you get rid of, I mean, the drone line's obviously nice, but if you then get rid of these Ravagers and you have nothing for the Ultras to be supported by, the Ultras are going to pop out on this base. That's obviously potentially problematic as Coffee is going to pull back. Queen's taking some damage as well. Liberator is able to get one of the kills. Bio reinforcements are huge right now. The Brutal is going to be what the Ultra goes and attacks in with, but it goes down to half health already. Again, the 2 Ultras, they're just not going to be enough. There's 2 more in production again, so that'll take him up to 3 in total. Queen's in the natural expansion still taking damage. There's the Ultras, which is just kind of, again, on its own. Zerglings don't stand much of a chance here. The Ravagers are late to the party, and obviously, there's just not a scenario here where you can continue to, comfortably build Ravagers. Oh my god, these Marines are so low as well, but there's just nothing to get the final shot off on them. Low health Marines, and Impact just doesn't have the numbers. And Coffee looking as though he's going to take the series 1-1 in that first matchup of the day. Invictus Gaming. They show up, and yet again, they're meaning business. And it's just such an Impact sort of series, isn't it? You know, it's totally Impact. Yeshe are going to be the next 2 maps. On the top left-hand side, XY is going to be the blue Terran player from Invictus Gaming, up against the red Protoss. On the bottom right-hand side from Team LP, this is Yeshe. So, probes mining away here as we get this going, and SCV wandering down to the bottom right-hand side to scout. Again, if you're unfamiliar with the China Team Championship format, the entire series is a best of 7 between 2 teams, with each team putting out 3 players. Each player plays 2 maps, so player 1 plays 2 maps and from each team. The next player plays the next 2 maps, and the next players play the next 2 maps. So essentially it's 3 sets of best of 2. And all 6 of those games are played. And if it is tied up 3-3 at the end of that, we will have an ace match. We didn't have an ace match yesterday on day 1, on our first day of the 2nd season, but today is very possible. We've got some close matchups coming up today. I mean, I feel like Invictus Gaming and Team LP just got a lot closer without Impact picking up the 2-0. And I really feel like Psystorm Gaming against Pixel 1 really could go a few different ways as well. We've got some very cool matchups in that, so absolutely could be a fun little day here. And we absolutely could get some ace matches, some game 7s on the way out. So looking forward to all of that as we kick this off. Again, game 3 of the series as we get this underway. And Adept coming over. And early game has been pretty regular. We saw the Twilight Council coming down here from Yeshe. He's going to go into a Blink play to get started. Marines just jumping up into the bunker there and getting themselves tucked away nice and easily too. So far, job's well done. Nobody doing anything too crazy. And yeah, just kind of waiting to see what is gonna come up next. So they're sitting back and chilling out here as we do see the Adept going up to the high ground. Vic gets picked off, so it's nice from XY. In Season 1, XY came out and played a few times as well for Invictus Gaming. Against, where is XY? There he is. He did go 0-4, so XY was never able to take him up. No, XY was such a cool player to me back in the day as well when he played in a lot of offense. He was always coming up with very interesting styles and strategies. Like, he was always coming in with like very unique Terran styles. He was always a very aggressive player. He would play a lot of like 2 base all-ins and stuff like that. He did lose out to Time and Rogue in Season 1, so I mean, for his losses, I mean, you can't really say that they weren't great players. I mean, Time's been killing it lately, so Yeah, alright, well. Continue to build up here. Observer on the way out at the moment from this Robo facility. Forge, Robo Bay dropping down as well. A lot of build up here at the moment as we see 2 more barracks from XY dropping in to the main base. Hallucinate Oracle is picked off. Raven. Not really necessary to detect that anything, but obviously would have told him it was a hallucination. Yeah, the Raven here obviously opens up some opportunities for XY, gives him that attacking potential when you move across, especially if we see Colossus here from Yeshe as he goes into the Robo Bay. It means that he's going to be able to interference matrix those Colossi, shut them off, take them offline, and that can really take away a lot of the, the tech units. So, Protoss play these 2 different styles, basically, where they either go, like, very heavy tech while expanding, or they go very heavy gateways and, gateway-heavy units. The gateway-heavy units are good because you get a lot of units up, you can split your army up very easily, but they're very bad in the sense that, in terms of longer and later in the game, obviously your splash damage is delayed, right? So, you're just trying to say, well, I can't do splash damage, but I can overwhelm with the amount of units I can make. The other way is to go, again, very tech-heavy, like you're going to be seeing here, the Colossus play. The Raven pushes are so good against these tech-heavy plays because you're relying on a couple of units. You're really relying on the Colossus more than anything else, and if those are disabled, then you actually don't have much else. Whereas the Raven against the Gateway Heavy play, for example, it's not really as influential. Yeah, sure, maybe you can knock offline the sentries, maybe you can knock off the Immortal, which has joined in, maybe get a good anti-armor missile off, but it's not going to disable like the key components of the army because there's going to be just so many of those units anyways. So this is nice to have the Raven up, good to keep it alive as well. Tried to come in for some harassment, but the Stalkers did turn it around. It is tough to try and make that Raven work here on Thunderbird, though, just because the attack is difficult to make. No matter what, you're going to be attacking up the ramp here when you talk about early attacks, so... +1/+1 is on the way in. Combat Shields is looking as though it's going to be done soon as well, and I'd imagine we'll see a bit of a push with that. Whether it's going to be successful or not, that remains to be seen. Because you really do have some choices. Do you hit the Colossus and, obviously take away that splash damage, or do you hit the sentries and stop the force fields on the ramp coming down? Can you bait the force fields before you drop the interference matrices? That would be absolutely amazing. Because if you can bait the force fields, then there's nothing to stop you once you do interference matrix. The problem is if you matrix and then force fields drop, then you're kept away from taking advantage of the interference matrix. So it's really a bit of a combination. There's a couple more Vikings on the way out. Just going to be seeing the army here from Yeshe looking pretty good. I mean, in the end, XY has decided not to push out at all. He's just going to start dropping. So he's going to go dropping around the left to begin with. He's actually going to fly past a pylon, though. So that is going to be vision gain. So he's just going to drop off and pick off that pylon. Yeah, I mean, Yeshe's just saying, okay, well, I'll sit back and keep building up. You're going to let me get to Storm? Cool. He'll be very happy with how this is going at the moment. So yeah, Storm on the way up, +1 armor, about halfway done as well. Side bio still moving around and is able to pick off a pylon, so pylon will drop there as we see Stalker being healed up a little bit. Zealot's actually going to run into this drop. He's going to lift and get out. Yeah, Stalkers went with this, so obviously the Stalkers are behind those minerals. Probably could have blinked for those medevacs as they lifted, but decided not to. We're going to have that enhanced shockwave upgrade coming in. This is the new upgrade for the Ghost, which gives it a 0.5 radius increase on that EMP. We've seen a lot of faster Ghost play nowadays from the Terran players now that they have that upgrade, so it's definitely done the job of bringing out a few more of those kind of bits and pieces. Bio pressing down is going to find a Zealot there on the low ground, so Zealot will drop. Over here again we have the Medevac army. This time is going to get blinked on. This is exactly what I was expecting last time. Only gets The one medevac there might have been better targeting the medevac closer to him, and then the lower health one further away. Probably would have been gotten with the kind of the couple stalkers that would have been left in range. That's a tough call though. Just trying to see how he might have done more damage. I tell you what, XY has some hella upgrades. 2-2 finishing and 2-2 only just starting here from Yeshe. I mean, that's kind of the consequence of just how heavily he's teched up. Because he didn't just go Colossus, right? He also went into Storm pretty fast. So instead of kind of going into the upgrades, he decided to get that Storm Roan and so on. Our Stalkers, Colossus pressing forwards here, the few Stalkers nibbling their way through that missile turret already. Missile turret will go down. Big EMP to start. Hits all the sentries. The Disruptor shot doesn't hit anything. Yeshe can use those Disruptors to help him disengage once these fights break out. If he feels like it's not going well, you know, you send the Disruptors back away. You can't chase into those Disruptor shots, so that's a nice Storm he was able to find too. Next Ghost is looking for an EMP, doesn't find it. An Interference Matrix hits a Colossus. Two more Storms on the left don't really do amazing things. We're going to see an Interference Matrix now on the Disruptor. Oh, XY pulls away from the kill. That Disruptor should have gone down. It will still fall before it's able to fire. As we see the Storm is dropping once again. Anti-armor missile going to strike the Colossus. Viking's going to try and take advantage of that. Oh my god, how many high-tech units are going to survive on like one hit from depth? That Colossus now, as bio units get caught running down this ramp. Disruptor shot goes into the center of the bio, and Yeshe, a destructive fight. Wow, he's going to have Stalkers underneath this as well to just keep fighting here. He's absolutely going to be able to take down the rest of these Vikings, and he doesn't really need much else. He's got enough to just keep pressing forwards. He can just reinforce with the gateway units, so it should be good. There you have it. It is going to be game number 3 of the series going to Team LP. So Yeshe, like I said, was definitely my favorite for this series. XY just never really made any pushes, never really applied much pressure. I mean, he had that set of medevacs that was dropping around, but at the end of the day, that's just not enough anymore. You can't just be like looking, oh, you know, I got 3 medevacs on the map. Be scared of me. Don't tech up too fast. It's tough on Thunderbird because you're obviously playing a map which is very good for the Protoss to tech up on, and it's very difficult to do that. So, setting up into this. Gonna be getting into game number 4. XY in the bottom right, like I said, if he can find a map here in this TVP, I mean, this is another very like macro-focused map. Now, obviously, it's not as easy at 3 bases as Thunderbird, but you know, if he does let it go on, it's going to go into a similar scenario. As we do have, I believe Protoss top left is Yeshe from Team LP. Alright, so as we set up into this and look to see where we're going to be going, just to see what comes out of this actually over the next couple minutes. Could definitely get pretty interesting. Twitch chat doing great, man. We got a 2-minute delay, so it kind of sucks trying to talk to you guys today, unfortunately. We have a Hot Doggo is doing great. Wishes there were more people watching the stream. Hey, we're only an hour into the stream, not even. Honestly, this is kind of like, sometimes for Season 1, this was like the peak viewership. So, for entire broadcasts. So the fact we're an hour in it, and that's, approaching 800 viewers, I'd say we're doing pretty okay at the moment. I'd say we're doing pretty well. While the council will drop down in the main base. Probe going to be coming out around this top, and Nexus is going to be finishing up in the next couple of moments. Depth goes shaded now. Twilight Council coming up to being about halfway done. You see a couple of Marines able to pick off the probe trying to scout, so didn't actually go into an early game Reaper, just went into that faster reactor, which gives them more Marines, which definitely gives them some more push and potential right away. Also makes them very safe against potential Adept run-bys like this early on. So Adept goes shading by up this ramp, and I see if he just finishes the factory in time to pull away. Pretty low HP, obviously, so if the Adept had wanted to get a kill, it probably would have been able to, although it would have probably also been sacrificed. So in the end, it's a good cancel. And do you see the Marines just going to come up this ramp and chase that Adept down? So Adept taking some damage here as it goes shading down the bottom right-hand side. And Adept just going to be pushed way up to the top as we do have the Blink upgrades on. So for Yeshe, it's just kind of the same opening here. Blink early in the game, and yeah, last game he went into Colossus from this. We'll see if he wants to do that again, or maybe get charged a lot faster this time and go into, again, that kind of gateway heavier style on a map that doesn't have as easily defended 3 bases. He's actually pressing forwards. A couple of Hellions going to try and join up, but there's a shield battery here in a moment, and with a shield battery, there's no real way to break through this. I really thought this was going to be a bit more of an inspired attempt to get some damage done with these Marines, but no, just quite literally poking up the front, but nothing being done. Hellion Marines continue to gather up. A couple more Ridder Mines up the left-hand side. Blink just on the way up. Facility is going to be finishing up in the main base in a few moments time, and again, Banshee Cloak on the way up, about halfway done with that one. Siege Tank going to be finishing soon. Coming all the way around to the top side, and able to pick off the probe. Now we're going to be seeing the medevac coming around the top. Did get a couple of Widow Mines in the main base and a couple of kills on there, so all probes down. I mean, this is better. It's some kind of damage at least from XY rather than doing nothing at all here. +1 attack, charge, dropping down. So we are going to see that switch in towards kind of more gateway units there, but it's not super fast, right? There's not a ton of gateways. It is most of the focus on the Robo Bay and getting up some Colossus from that. So we are going to see that Colossus coming in. That production starting up over the next few moments, and again, a couple of Stalkers just pulling into the top. Banshee's going to arrive and is getting some good damage onto a sentry there already. She's kind of on top of it again, though. I mean, 3 probes is not really enough. Problem was the sentry took some damage, then got healed by the battery, and so you lost a lot of potential shots. And again, XY, while he is dealing some, little bits and pieces of probe damage, he's taking a slight worker lead. It's just not quite where you'd expect stuff to go. Hallucinated Phoenix dropping down to the bottom side of the map. Colossus, Corona boosting out, still going to be finished shortly. Again, just going to be waiting to see what happens next. Is we do have a good few Marines from XY, just hanging out on the natural expansion there, Siege Tank as well. Again, just Marauders, Marines, Stim, more Medevacs, all on the way up. Temple Archive is going to be on this way as well. XY, again, past those kind of couple little bits and pieces of aggression, is not really finding much of a way to be anywhere. Stalker's still setting up in the middle of the map. +1 attack, and Stimpack about to be done, so this way XY can maybe get aggressive with the army. Again, it's that kind of stage where I feel you look at this, you've got a Raven, you've got tanks. I feel like this is the sort of stage you should be pushing. I mean, there are so many good positions over here for tanks, especially on this third base. Tanks up on this high ground and pushing along this pathway. Raven ability can obviously shut down the Colossus. I mean, there is so much you can do there. And we are going to see XY move out, which is good because I really feel that's what he needs to do here. You see an XY then sitting at the front, and again, +1 armor, combat shields, building 2. I mean, he pulls back. I just really want to see him attack. Like, I feel like it didn't go right for him in the last game, sitting back doing nothing. I can kind of understand why. Hey, it's Thunderbird. But now you're just letting Yeshe for the second game in the row do the exact same thing, set up in the exact same way, and you have an aggressive setup. Again, you've got a Raven with multiple interference mid-routes. You can take Colossus offline. You can absolutely set up tanks here to be able to push into this concave area and to work from there. Instead, XY just believes he can just sit back and, I don't know, I don't really know what to say about it much more than not what I've already said, right? It doesn't feel like it's going to go well for him. So a little bit of bio going to send itself forwards. That single stalker already pulling back a little bit. Ghost Academy from XY, I mean, again, it's just a similar idea to, but I mean, this is what I mean, it's just a similar idea. So obviously XY just says, cool, I see what I did in game number 1, I saw what I did wrong, and I'm just going to change it. But obviously so far it's the exact same, so he's very happy to play the same style. So whatever alterations he's going to make to the engagement is going to have to be really quite substantial to help out with this here. Bio still gathering together. Is going to be seeing the Raven running out over to the left-hand side. So Raven moves left. I mean, it feels like the Raven's meant to be here, you know? This army's pushing across. The Raven has so much use it could bring into play. Gotta try to skill the Disruptor, loses Bio in the process. I mean, the Raven's going to throw down, what, a couple of auto turrets? And yeah, sure, it's going to do some damage. It'll do alright. I mean, he's actually going to currently drop them onto gateways, so where they're currently queued up, it might not drop. It depends how much pressure Yeshe starts to apply, how much attention is paid to that Raven. Yeah, Raven was paid attention to, and gets triple auto turret down, but now they're fighting Stalkers, which are again shield batteried anyways. A couple of Zealots walking in, taking the shots too. 2 probes. And that's it, the Raven energy's gone. Okay, the Raven's alive, but the Raven energy is gone. This would have gone... I just feel like, I mean, there's no way you're telling me there's less chance of, again, only 2 probes over here. Obviously it's not going to kill probes, but it's going to be way more useful than killing 2 probes, right? I'm almost convinced. Good EMPs, though, do hit all of the high Templars, so there are no storms left. And that's going to be the moment where XY will decide to engage a few of the Vikings going forwards there. The Disruptor goes down, and the Zealots are just running into a massacre. Again, they have no shields, so they're missing a lot of their health. And this did go a lot better for XY in the end. But, I mean, this is just obviously a horrendous engagement for Yeshe. I mean, the moment you get hit with those EMPs, you should not be around here. You should be recalling home. You should be walking home. Get out of there, you know? You don't have storms anymore. You have, you know, your Zealots, your tankiness is not there anymore. Bio picking their way through this set of rocks. Alan going to get picked off. That's why on the offensive. I mean, it's going to be very hard for Yeshe to get that kind of army up once again. He is getting some high Templar, so he is building up Storm Energy. Colossus production is underway. He's got his second one on the way out now in production. Tank's going to siege up. Again, there's so many ledges, etc. to be used on this map. A lot of position and the Terran can put into play. From the Stalkers setting down as well, and the Vikings going to be able to grab a Colossus up in front. Again, a couple of the Ghosts just gathering themselves up and looking for the EMPs. XY is once again in this scenario where he's playing very slow. I like these snipes on the High Templar. He's playing very slow, but it is obviously kind of working for him at the moment as he pulls back towards the Siege Tank fire. EMP does drop. No storms available again, and that's meaning that a lot of the main splash damage here is just not in play at all. As Archons keep pressing forwards, the Vikings are just going to stay in the skies. Can't really blame them. There is Colossus coming out. I mean, one wandering over, so keeping those Vikings... Okay, now he lands it just as this Colossus is about to arrive. They'll want to jump back up into the skies here and fight them. There's only 3 of them left, but obviously there's not much support for the Colossus either. So Invictus Gaming are going to get another point on the board. And that's going to mean if either of our last two players, Patience and Iasoney, are able to take the 2-0, we will have a victor. So it's a really honest legend. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. 2-2 tied up going into our final two maps. Unless we get to Game 7 for the first time this season in the China Team Championship. In the bottom right-hand side, our red Protoss player from Team LP. Can he get the 2 in a row? This is Patience. Up against the star of Invictus Gaming. And that's just not because he's called Starry. It's Iasoney. He really is that star. In the first season, without Iasoney, the Invictus Gaming would not have picked up the wins that they did end up finding. In the end, Iasoney was absolutely one of the best players on Invictus. A 50% win rate, 8-8 in maps. He was tied with Jigwell also on his team, but he only played 2-2, went 2-2 in maps. So next closest to Iasoney was Coffee, 3-5. But yeah, Invictus really had this very weird season where they actually got off to a really good start, and then they just they just fell off hard at the end. Like their last 2 weeks, they lost 0-6 and 1-5. The week before that, 2-4 and 1-5 again. But weeks 1, 2, and 3, it was like 3-4 against Team LP, 4-2 against Sidestorm, 4-3 against Player 1. It's like, oh my god, here we go. And it was just like, no, now you're gonna get crushed. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy in the end. Well, setting up into this PvZ, and we do see 2 minutes in, a few Zerglings on the way out. The hatch gas and pool was set up over on the right-hand side. One Ephemeron here for this Game 5 of the series.
If you're just tuning in, it's been a pretty fun
set of games so far. Yeah, it's honestly a little bit of I'd say an upset in both the matches, because I really do feel Yeshe is favored against XY, so XY taking the map off Yeshe. I think more interestingly is the map that Coffee took off Impact, and honestly Impact just did not look good, and so I feel like if this does go to an ace match, you have to put Patience back out there, and so if this goes to a Game 7, I would absolutely expect this to just be Patience versus Iasoney in the 7th game. But we have to get there first, and for that to happen, one of these players has to win each of these games. Neither of them can win both. If we want a 7th game, if we want an ace match. Again, our second series up tonight as well is going to be between Sidestorm Gaming and Pixel 1. That's actually a really cool matchup. There's a lot of great matches there, part in Gumiho, True Fantasy, and even the China matchup, Firefly vs Sakura, could be really interesting. So that's going to be fun to see how that turns out. A lot of lings made here from Iasoney early on is not going to be able to put them to use though. Warlock was good at the front, and so Iasoney not able to find any way to... Again, that's a lot of lings, right? That's 18 Zerglings. That's 9 drones he could have had instead. Now, yeah, maybe he would have had to make a few of these anyways to be safe, but definitely overmade lings, and so far has found nothing at all to get done with them. Something's coming down the bottom side. Gonna see the hallucinated Phoenix flying around the top as well. Gonna be finished up in a couple of moments. Queen able to get some more shots off too. And the Overlord's gonna get pushed away down this left-hand side. So Overlord taking a few hits there. Again, some extra Zerglings just gathering up on the bottom as a hallucination continues up to the top side. So obviously just Patience, making sure he continues to scout. The Twilight Robo opening means he's been heading towards that Dark Shrine, and his Warp Prism is already on the map as well. He's going to have a couple of Adepts here, which we'll probably have to lift up. It means that actually, that's annoying though, because if he has to try and save the Adepts, then he's not able to warp in the DTs, because, well, actually, that's kind of a stupid comment, because actually he can warp in the DTs, just has to warp them in below the Warp Prism and keep the Adepts inside. I was thinking about lifting up the Archons, but obviously, you can just do that a bit later on, okay. First Archon should be able to morph in a moment. He's just missing one more Dark Templar to really set this off. There is a Spore Crawler on the third base, but the Lings are actually just going all over the place apart from where that Spore Crawler is. And Patience isn't really going to stick around for too much damage. The Adept's now going to shade by. They're going to go run into the natural. I'd be surprised if they finished up just yet. It'd be better to save them for when maybe the Archon's on the map, or just to keep them back at home and protect the third base for a while longer, because the timing kind of passed for him to do much with these over here. DT is able to pick up a couple of Creep Tumors, another Dark Temple now opening, so we're finally going to see the Archon drop getting going. Again, took a little while, but gets there eventually. Immortal production underway, and no sign of anything else either, right? No charge upgrade, no forge for the +1. Very interesting. Keep your eyes out for those upgrades, because if we don't see those upgrades coming down soon, this absolutely starts to feel a lot more like a very committed all-in sort of attack, rather than you know, just a little bit of pressure with the Archons. So, okay, there is a forge. Did I just completely miss this forge? I guess I was looking over here. So there's a forge and it is putting +1 use. Okay, that means we will get a bit of a longer game. Oh my god, he loses an Archon. Patience. I mean, I know he was flying the Prism away to kind of minimize damage, but it absolutely could have come back in there to save that Archon. So, honestly, the Team LP players are playing a little bit sloppy today. Patience and Impact. And obviously, we've only seen a few minutes of Patience so far. We'll see how it continues, but Impact was definitely not a pretty series. That ZVT was a bit messy. As we are going to see the War Prisoner still flying around, see where it can go. The Hallucinated Phoenix up and towards the top left, scouting around. Spire will be the choice there. Again, the War Prism just coming out over to the left. We'll just continue to gather up in the center of the map in the Prism. Gonna unload those couple of Archons, so Roach is taking some damage once again. A Hallucinated Phoenix into the natural is going to get picked off. Spire not far from finishing the Zerglings again, is surrounding a few of those probes for them, going down. Nice little run by into the third base. Patience still making a bunch of probes then, so really is looking to keep taking up. Very excited to see what Iasoney can do with the Spire, of course. Yeah, this could be a good part of trying to make something happen against this. We see +1 attack finishing soon. Templar Archives about to finish up as well. Prison 2 Archons set out to the side. Zerglings from Iasoney back up to the top, and +1 melee coming in as well. I mean, playing the melee on the Lingbane Ravager, obviously it works nicely if you can get those Banes into mineral lines, etc. Especially once you hit +2. And right now there's Lings in mineral lines, so already going to get some damage done with these. Really focusing on the Lings then as the damage deals in this. The Ravagers obviously help break down force fields, etc. Let those Banelings connect. So Patience is going to have to be very good at force field and etc. in these fights. Archon's still out on the map though, which means they're not at home to defense. And Iasoney on the 69 drones has built up a 100 army supply. He's missing an Overseer. It is on its way over, so there's going to be an Overseer here to be able to pick off DTs. It's very important, even when you can just make DTs in general, right? If there's a potential of making DTs, always have an Overseer in the army. Otherwise, you can obviously have defenses made by Dark Templars. Oh my god, Patience is just not paying attention. Corrosive Bars break down the force fields, and honestly the force fields were kind of late anyways. The Banelings don't even want to go off on the Immortals because it's just a disaster, and Iasoney is going to take Invictus Gaming up to 3-2 in the map. Are you all ready? Again, a must-win map for Patience if he wants to take his team to the ace match. A must-win map here for Patience. It's kind of a tough ask. Wardy, are you like full-time streaming? Yes, I am. I have been full-time for 4 years now. As you can see, we are full on the loading bar. Someone's going to disconnect. That's why this is taking so long. No, no one's disconnecting. Someone just has a bad PC. Alright, jump into game number 6. It is nice to finally have a series where game number 6 is still meaningful. Yesterday we had a 5-1 and a 4-3 4-2, but the 4-2 was already decided, right? So yeah, yesterday we had a pretty no, sorry, we had a 4-2 and 5-1, yeah. So the series was already done by the time we got to the game 6s, but yeah, we'll see what happens. We've had Iasoney in the bottom right, Patience in the top left. Can Patience give us an ace match? We have not seen an ace match yet here in Season 2. It would be awesome to see one. Patience is the one with the potential to give it to us. If he does not, it means that Invictus Gaming are going to start their Season 2 campaign with a win. And they are, I mean, Invictus Gaming have to be, once again, the absolute underdogs of the league. Because they are made up of purely Chinese players. So while every team has to send out at least one Chinese player each match, the Invictus Gaming don't have any Koreans to help bolster their roster. So usually every single series is like, you know, 2 Korean players and a Chinese player go out for a team, or, you know, it's a Korean player and a very strong foreign player like Special from Ocean Gaming or Scarlet from Newbie or Talent. You know what I mean? And then, you know, Chinese joins in. You know, for Invictus Gaming, they actually just send out 3 Chinese players, and it's interesting because a lot of their Chinese players are absolutely kind of on the level of the other Chinese players in the league. And then Iasoney can kind of compete with some of the top Koreans as well, but not super consistently. So, you know, they are absolutely a team that can compete, but when you look at the numbers, when you look at the, you know, chances and the likelihoods, they're absolutely at the bottom of the table because on average, they should lose more than they should win, right? Based on just, you know, who they can send out each week. So, yeah. Absolutely the underdogs. So to pick up a win in their first week, that'd be absolutely huge for them. Of course, only 5 weeks of group play as well. Top 2 teams, I believe top 3 teams advance to playoffs. Only the third place team has to play the other third place team to decide who actually goes to the playoffs. Link speed on the way up, Stargate dropping down in the main base as well. That Nexus is finishing up now, and it's going to be Chrono boosting out a couple extra probes as you see the first probe already running back up to the top left-hand side. Depth negotiating out as well over to the right. So yeah, so far, so good as the third hat-trick drops down. I mean, very typical opening the Stargate. A good way for Patience to just play a safe opener that should keep him safe throughout the game as well. The fact you already have a Stargate to use if a Mutalist or Mutalist player comes in, like Spire drops down from Iasoney, that's nice. It just means you already have the ability to make Phoenix right from the get-go. Stepped is going to go down. Good chase by the Lings and good micro on the Queens. So Patience is once again going to be the player losing the early unit. It's more impactful. I mean, 1 Ling, 4 and Adept, absolutely good stuff for Iasoney. He'll be very happy with that trade-off. And now the Oracle on the way out of the Stargate. So Oracle is going to be popping out, is going to start heading down to the bottom right-hand side. Would I want to be the offline commentator for the China Team Championship playoffs in China if possible? Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to fly me out to cast it offline, sure, of course I would be, but you know, I think in the end of the day, Season 1 worked out pretty well. The clean feed was very good, and we were able to provide a very good level of commentary for the a very good level of production and commentary for the English-speaking audience, anyways. So, yeah, you know, I always love traveling, I always love going on trips, etc. But yeah, obviously, it's not really necessity. I feel when they did put on a very good, like I said, like I feel like obviously, you know, casting events always cool and all, but you know, for the quality that they gave us for Season 1 playoffs with the production value, etc., it worked out very well anyways, so yeah, it was very cool. So I wouldn't mind, obviously I'd love to go to China again, but I also wouldn't mind moving around as, you know, just doing it online again. Also, I mean, less traveling means I can stream more, so it's going to be an all-in from Iasoney. The Nidus network is on the way up now. The Phoenix just went down. No scouting on the Nidus, by the way. Dropper Lord into the main. Oh my god, there's going to be a Dropper Lord into a Nidus? Damn. It's actually kind of brutal. Okay, well, again, the one gas, a big giveaway to the fact that this is going to be a link with Nidus. Now the Oracle's coming. Oh my god. Patience is going to see the Nidus network. So he sees it now just before it starts. Lings are going to be able to run at the frontier. A few sentries actually moved forwards. Lings are actually on top of an Immortal that was rallied out the front, so that's a bit of a disaster. Patience is going to lose sentries. Oh no, Patience, what are you doing? Lings coming in from the other side, so they're going to kill all the sentries. Okay, this game is just... This game might just be over. This Immortal's already low HP because it was out the front for whatever reason. Oh my god, Iasoney.